You don't understand the payoff. If you just wait, it will be all worth it. Yeah, but what you're missing here is the fact that what's the one thing that drives you the most crazy when it comes to booking WWE or any company? ROH, is it the starts? Is it the stops? Is it the indie talent getting gobbled up from the indies when they're on the best run of their life and then WWE's not utilizing them? What about it makes you so passionate as a wrestling fan? What makes us the most passionate wrestling fans? I feel like in 2018, when it comes to professional wrestling, we all have different opinions. We all want something different. If you look at what's happening with WWE and NXT right now, especially, WWE superstars from NXT are going to evolve. Cassius Ohno was a huge staple in Evolve, and now he just went back to face Shane Strickland. Fabian Eichner had a match. You have the Street Profits. You have Mustafa Ali wrestling and saying the next time I'm there, I'm going to defend the Cruiserweight title. So as much as easy as it would be to be like, Pac wasn't being used, look at a guy like Austin Aries, who Austin Aries quit WWE because he wasn't happy with his WrestleMania placement. But then he went to Impact Wrestling, where he was the belt collector, and he won belts at every promotion. And eventually he was forced to lose on the biggest show that Impact has to John Morrison, Mr. Impact, Johnny Impact. And then he quit. He flicked off Don Callis and he left. That's kind of becoming Austin Aries' gimmick. So you can complain that WWE never used Austin Aries properly, but since he's left, whether this is WWE's fault or whatever, it seems to all be playing out. Chelsea Green came into WWE with the Daniel Bryan storyline, and eventually that hunger grew her to become one of the biggest stars on the indies, and eventually got signed by WWE. As easy as it would be for me to sit here and complain at everything that WWE is doing wrong, especially on the main roster when feuds start and stop, the overall picture of WWE is the best it's ever been. Yeah, there are so many people in WWE that are kind of withering away that WWE is not writing quality storylines for, and you get frustrated. People think that I defend WWE with that just shut up and take it. Just shut up and wait for the payoff. That's not the case at all, because WWE just has so much in the reserves that they really can't do anything wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're always still going to keep watching, because even if you don't like what's happening on WWE now, Raw, SmackDown, you may still be interested in NXT. That package that's coming out for possibly $12.99 or $14.99 or whatever, WWE is laying the foundation. In 2015 and 2016, I was working on this book about Triple H and the Ultimate Control for Power. If you ever saw Max Landis's series Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, this was Wrestling Isn't Wrestling Part 2, Triple H's Control for Power. And in that, I literally called him an oil tycoon who was placing his wells everywhere around the world. And that's been happening. We have NXT training facilities, or they want NXT training facilities, or WWE Performance Centers all around the world. We have champions going over to the UK and winning a match, so then they come back here. It's almost like sports, where every country is kind of getting represented, so you have somebody to cheer for it in a sport fashion. You have the news and rumors that SmackDown wants a more sports-based show. Well, a more sports-based show is like what Triple H is doing with the Mae Young Classic or the Cruiserweight Classic, in that it's a competition pitting athletes against each other, like The Rock's Titan Games on NBC. It's all a competition. So yeah, we're still going to have storylines and everything else, but like I said, as easy as it is to sit here and complain, can you really complain when you got Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano? Yeah, you can. You can get upset at Raw and SmackDown, but the overall future of the company is better than ever. We can keep blaming Vince McMahon for stuff that happens in the company, but look at all the good Triple H is doing. Look at all the good Matt Bloom, when I got to meet Matt Bloom for WWE 2K19's press event this year at the Performance Center, you truly understand and grasp the fact that he cares and he is looking out for the best of everybody. He's looking out for them, and he truly cares about them. He wants the athletes to be the best and to push each other. So the one thing that it's not defending a company is, yes, there may be some of the best superstars on screen, or maybe you saw them before they got signed with WWE and the WWE isn't using them. But unfortunately, we don't see both sides of the coin. We don't see how they work out backstage. You see a guy like Drew McIntyre say people got complacent, and Drew is one of them. If you look at 3MB, he gained some weight, he kind of lost his focus, he got released by WWE, and then he went on the indies and absolutely tore up the world, and is now back to where people are demanding Drew McIntyre possibly facing Brock Lesnar for the title. That wouldn't have happened if Drew truly didn't deserve it years ago. If WWE didn't cut him loose and he had to go find himself and really give that drive back. Same thing with Jinder Mahal. Whether you like Jinder or you don't like Jinder, whether the fact that you hate the fact that WWE, you're one of the people that were like, Jinder Mahal never won a match. Why is he champion? This is crap. It's just for the India market. Maybe. But at the same time, Jinder put in that work and he was rewarded for it. So I don't know what WWE looks for. I don't know what they're after. I don't know what's the goal. But even if you don't like something on the main program, there's so much good to look for. It's like Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. They were always meant to be pushed and to be this big tag team on WWE, but unfortunately injuries kept getting in the way. So now that injuries kept getting in the way and they're back, people are upset they're not being used more. They're losing matches they shouldn't to the B team. They're not the tag team champions. AOP is the tag team champions. Meanwhile, they're wrestling on main event. But if their whole gimmick is being, the guys back in the olden day, they didn't complain. They just went out there and did their job. I'm sure some guys complained, but they're just there and they're making main event. And they're making the best out of it. They're having a great attitude because they know damn well that WWE is going to use the revival at some point. So you just kind of have to sit and wait. Well, storylines aren't working right now for some people or some teams or some groups. Things down the line probably will. And that's the hardest thing. As much as I want to be upset and I want to come over to the side of complaining about every little thing WWE does, they do a lot of stuff right. And whether it is Vince or Triple H or whoever's running NXT or SmackDown or Raw, the thing to keep in mind, especially when you're complaining, is it is a billion-dollar company. There are so many things that need to happen for things to go a certain way. If you start pushing one superstar and fans organically, I say that word organically because I think back to the Cesaro section signs. We say now, or we're claiming, the fans on the internet, if you see some, that WWE's trying to force some stuff by passing out signs, so then dirt sheets run that as a story. Well, back in the day, Reddit gave Cesaro section signs. You want to hear something crazy? How do we know that person on Reddit that said, we need to have Cesaro section signs? Imagine if there's a WWE documentary that comes out, and the social media team was behind some of this. They organically integrated in, made on social media, so the post that went viral, imagine if they had a hand in it. I'm just saying that would be next level booking. It'd be really crazy. So as much as we want to sit here and complain on the internet, which we have every right to do, we're paying fans. Some of us share network login accounts. Some of us pay for it. Some of us, go to shows and pay for tickets. Some people only watch the free TV because that's all they can really afford to do. But if you don't like WWE, you can continue to complain about it. You can continue to tweet and type me and complain and tell me I don't want to wait for the payoff, which is true. I mean, I get it, man. When I tell people to wait for the payoff and their first reaction is shut the I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get demonetized. But tell me, just shut up. I just want good wrestling. I 100% get that. I am not trying to defend the company's actions to you. I'm just saying historically, a guy like Daniel Bryan, when you waited for it, that was one of the best moments. Every time you talk to somebody now, especially a younger fan, one of their best moments is Daniel Bryan winning. Well, if Daniel Bryan had been the champion the whole year, or he wasn't getting buried by the Authority, or if he didn't have to work for it where people thought they forgot about him or didn't want him in the main event, WrestleMania 30 wouldn't have meant as much. Plain and simple. Bar none. Stop. So it's not defending, it's just kind of questioning the motive. So as much as I want to be the guy that's sitting there going, why is Daniel Bryan losing all the time? Why did he tap out? He deserves to be in the main event. He does. But the struggle the first time was worth it. So if you're looking at the Miz and Daniel Bryan storyline, you got some tomfoolery going on. You have Shane McMahon being the best in the world. Why is Shane the best in the world? I'm going to go and complain on the internet. Again, you have every right to. Why was Shane in the match? Why did Shane throw himself in there? You look at NXT now, and you have some of the best produced wrestling going into War Games between Velveteen Dream and Tommaso Ciampa. You have Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black, where Johnny Gargano is embracing this character where that he's not in the wrong, that he did nothing wrong. So he's trying to get, fans behind him when the fans were the ones that cost Johnny Gargano. I said it right at the pay-per-view. When the fans started to cheer Johnny Gargano and he started to fill up with, like, I can do this, and went to the top rope, he eventually lost. It cost him. It was the thing that did him in. The fans did him in. So he took his own route. Now, WWE spoiled a long time ago, or leaked, quote, quote, leaked, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano were going to get back together. Well, if they do at this point, as you can see Tommaso Ciampa on Twitter, rather than complain like, you kind of see them organically working back together, but you're still going to watch it. WWE has been doing this more and more, of leaking what's going to happen, but when you actually watch it play out, you still watch it play out. So again, if you want to sit behind the keyboard and complain about WWE, I can't fret you. I can't blame you. I'd be upset too, man. I just want all the superstars that WWE has to be their best. I want them to go out there and crush it, to make a living for their families, to get everything that they have coming to them, because there's so many superstars on this roster that deserve the world because they're fantastic performers. Guys like Finn Balor deserve to be champion. But the struggle now that we're really upset with is something down the road that possibly is going to have a payoff. Like I said, it's not easy. It's going to take a while, and it sucks in the meantime. But I just keep thinking back to Daniel Bryan. I keep thinking back to those moments where superstars finally get that opportunity. Dolph Ziggler struggled forever until he finally got that Money in the Bank cash-in, and it was one of the greatest cash-ins ever. So before you comment next time and rush to Twitter, ask yourself, is what they're doing on TV, if somebody like Becky Lynch is over, and you want Becky Lynch on TV back in the past year when she wasn't doing anything, and she was randomly losing to Naomi, or she was randomly losing a match. Well, I wanted Becky Lynch. Well, here's a case where they knew you wanted Becky, and they gave somebody else the win over her. And now look where Becky's at now. So again, before we rush to Twitter, let's think. Who am I kidding? We're all going to rush to Twitter and complain because that's what wrestling fans do. That's what makes it awesome. It's like fantasy football, sitting there trying to pick the best lineup and then getting upset that you changed everything. There's never going to be a right or wrong answer. We're just passionate wrestling fans. So let me know in the comments section below what makes wrestling the one thing that social media goes nuts over, that you defend, that you revolt against. I want to know, truthfully. Whether I'm an idiot or not for telling you to wait, there's something inside of you that makes you defend or stick up for WWE. And as wrestling fans, we always have. Going back to the age-old question, wrestling's fake, right? So what? It's fake, and I'm more caught up in complaining about fake wrestling than I am half the stuff that goes on in the world. So until next time, it's your boy Tubby Emu. We're going to see you later in a video, but until next time, keep in mind, the payoff is probably always coming. They just might forget about it along the way.